Men who left their pregnant girlfriends, what's your side of the story? 6 days ago I found out my girlfriend is pregnant and is keeping it, but I'm worried the baby will ruin my life the way I ruined my parents. My dad always made it clear, I was the reason he'd had to let go of the life he wanted. He never missed a chance to remind me of everything I was doing wrong, everything I was failing to live up to. The only warmth in our house came from my mom. She tried her best to make up for the lack of encouragement from him, and for a long time, she was the only reason I ever believed in myself at all. If I didn't meet my dad's standards, my mom would be there to say it was okay, that I was fine the way I was. Sometimes, I thought she was just trying to protect me from him, and I leaned on her maybe a little too much. Even though I knew my mom loved me and had wanted me, I could never shake the feeling that I'd ruined her and my dad's life. I told myself I wouldn't end up bitter like him if I ever had a kid, and I wanted to prove I could have the life he thought I stole from him. Then I met Emily, and for the first time, I thought I might actually be able to have that happy life I'd always wanted. We met in college, and we hit it off immediately. She was kind, funny, and actually believed in me. After years of feeling like I was never good enough, here was someone who saw me as I wanted to be seen. We'd been together for 3 years, and I was finally ready to propose. I had it all planned out, a dinner with her family, a weekend where we'd make memories, and, at the end of it, the big question. But my dad, of course, couldn't leave it alone. When I told my parents about my plans, he just scoffed. "Hope you're ready to kiss your life goodbye," he said, "you're about to ruin your life just like I did." My mom, as always, tried to smooth things over, telling me to ignore him, saying he didn't mean it. But I knew he did. He resented me for existing, for taking away the life he thought he deserved, and now he was trying to make me believe that having a family would be the worst mistake I could make. I tried to ignore him, telling myself he didn't understand me, that I was different. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that maybe he was right. Maybe I'd end up like him after all. The night of the dinner, I tried to ignore the doubts my dad had planted in my head, but Emily could tell I was being weird. I ended up chickening out of the proposal because I was doubting myself so much, and on the drive home, Emily asked me straight out if I still wanted to be with her. I told her I did, but I wasn't convincing. She then broke down and told me she was pregnant. I could see the hurt and fear in her eyes when she asked if I was ready to be a father, if I could handle the responsibility without regretting it later on. I didn't know what to say, so I just stayed silent. I ended up dropping her off at her home and told her that we'd talk in the morning. I was in shock when I got home and didn't even make it to my room to tell my mom everything Emily had told me in private. I cried and told her that Emily was pregnant, that I was scared, that I didn't want to ruin my life or my family's life. My dad heard everything from the other room and came into the living room laughing his head off. My mom tried to scold him and comfort me, but my dad just said, "That baby is going to take everything from you, your dreams, your freedom, everything you thought you wanted. Just like you did to me." I felt like I was going to throw up, so I ran to my room and slammed the door. All these years, I'd been trying to prove him wrong, but now I was sure I was going to be just like him. I didn't want that more than anything, so in my panic, I texted Emily and said I couldn't be a father and I didn't want to be with her. I figured it was better to let her and the kid go than it was to make a kid have a father like me. Emily started to call me, but I turned off my phone and cried myself to sleep. All I could hear was my dad's voice in my head, telling me I was about to make the biggest mistake of my life. The next morning I didn't turn my phone back on. I couldn't bear to see Emily's messages or hear her voice. I knew I'd hurt her, but I knew that it was better this way. I knew my mom wanted to help me, but I didn't have it in me to face her or tell her what I'd done. She knocked on my door a couple of times, asking me if I was okay, but I just told her I needed to be alone. When I finally turned my phone on that night, I had a flood of messages from Emily. They were filled with confusion, hurt, and anger. She'd asked me over and over why I would do this to her, why I'd abandon her and our baby if I'd ever truly loved her. She begged me to talk to her, to let her understand what was going through my head. I wanted to call her, but I was terrified that I'd only make things worse if I tried to go back. So, I sent Emily one final message, telling her that she deserved someone better than me and that having a baby together was a mistake. Then I blocked her and turned my phone off again. I feel like I've both avoided and made the biggest mistake of my life at the same time, and I'm worried Emily will try to drive over here to talk or that she'll do something rash to the baby.